Why do I whistle when I speak? That's not the question that was posed. The question that was posed was, what guitars do I use for what purposes and why? That's a good question. I gravitate towards, certainly I like Telecasters. I think there's no mistake that I am a fan of the Tele, because the Tele to me does a little bit of all the things I need done. If you know what I'm saying. I can kind of do some quasi archtoppy sounds with it. I can make it be a rock utensil. I can make it be, a country sickle. I can do just enough stratty stuff on it. I can do all my behind the nut rustling and volume swells and volume control wahs and all that kind of stuff. I do like the sound of humbuckers. And so I like humbuckers on Les Pauls and on 335s. 335 is a little bit softer sounding in terms of it. It just seems to have just a little bit more of a woodeny halo around the tone than a Lester Palfus, and it's got a different feel to it a little bit in terms of certainly body shape, obviously. And I've liked 335s in the past quite a bit for all the reasons I just mentioned. There's something about the bite of a good Les Paul that is like a meaty sounding Telecaster, and I gravitate towards those when I want a little bit more beef than your standard Telecaster experience. Plus, I will say that with the Gibson scale, there's a whole different aspect of my vibrato game that is a little easier to pull off on that scale, and so I have a tendency to play differently on the different guitars. Certainly, I will kind of be inspired by the forerunners, if you will, of whatever that particular guitar was. If I'm playing a Les Paul, I might have moments of, Cream Era Clapton meets Peter Green on the highway to Dickie Betts and Dwayne Allman and Mike Bloomfield and, the usual suspects, Jimmy Page. And so I will kind of reference that stuff or that kind of grab bag of activity, but... I tend to kind of keep it simple. When I do gigs, I'll bring like one or two guitars. And I try to get as most out of it. But I have different tricks on different instruments. For instance, on a Strat, obviously, again, I'll reference kind of the pioneers of that particular guitar and the minutia that goes with that particular instrument. And then where I'm, whatever quasi-unique ways that I... try to do with that particular instrument. So I use different guitars for different things, but I do like to mix it up. I mean, if I haven't played a Strat in a while and I'll sit down, I'll play a Strat like, and then I'll be inspired to play that. So the guitars for me are different devices to be inspired by, and I get inspired by all kinds of different instruments. But the guitars I play the most at home are going to be Teles, certainly my new Fret King signature thing I've been working on, which is a larger bodied type of a Tele. I play that guitar quite a bit. And then various different Les Pauls and my 335 and Strats. That's kind of my thing. Strats, Teles, 335s, Les Pauls. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. And for my acoustics, I play a Martin HD28. Actually, it was called a Custom 15 when it came out in '96. It was kind of the Guitar of the Year thing, where Martin does that limited run annual thing. But if I had to describe it, it's a HD28, vintage HD28 type of situation. Anyway, there you have it. Guitars for different occasions, ladies and gentlemen. Can you dig it?